Hello everyone! In this video I will be finishing the coffee cup that I've started in my last live stream from December 5th. If you're interested to learn how to make those cool bubbles, please watch my video called Live Watercolor Tutorial Holiday Coffee Cup, and I will also drop the link to that video in the description below. I have started working on this cup using Nescafe coffee, which I diluted in a little bit of water to create nice thick liquid. The rest was painted with watercolor. So as you can see, this is from the previous video, and I am just applying some coffee to make those cool bubbles. And as you can see on the right, it's that mixture that I've made. It has to be thick because you want to be able to dilute it to make lighter shades. And if you want, to mix it with other colors, which you will see I actually did. I actually mixed it in with another color to create a darker pink. But let's go ahead here, and I've started with the inside layer, basically the inside cup wall, and I decided this time to paint it with some lime green. It's really nice color, and I thought, why not for the holiday season? So I'm just applying very lightly. You want to start with very light shade of the color, and then just slowly darken it as you go. And if you mess up a little, as I did just right there, you can use a wet but very clean brush, and make sure you clean off the water from the brush, and then just gently remove that paint. The brush will pick up that color from the areas where you went over. So no worries, just always keep that extra brush beside you in case you screw up a little. And again, start with lighter shades, and then slowly start applying those darker colors. And if at any moment you feel like you went over your white areas where you should have left it empty, see how I'm picking it up with the brush? Same thing with that clean but wet brush. You can just lift that color off the paper right away. Don't wait, because once it gets dry, it becomes a little bit harder to pick up that color. And now I'm going to use the Nescafe coffee liquid that I've made to create the background around the cup. Now you do want to try first a layer of that our made paint on a piece of paper, just to kind of see if you're happy with the shade that you're getting. And once you're satisfied, start applying around your cup. Also gently, not too much water, but enough for the paint to slowly kind of run around your cup. And if it can stay wet, it would be even better, because after that you can apply any other color you like to kind of, make it a little funkier and fun. And now we're gonna make those splashes. You have to make them on the paper when it's still wet from our layer, so don't let it dry. Prepare your color that you want to splash on right away, and after you finished with your big brush, grab the medium brush and just tap all around where you want those splashes to be. You can also try that first on a piece of paper, and if you're happy with the splashes, and if you figured out how much you have to tap, how hard, then you're good to go and splash around. If some of the drops went on top of the cup, same thing, you can just grab a brush, wet clean brush, and just carefully lift that paint off the paper. It will work. And here I am going to make that darker pink color for outline of the cup using pink and using that coffee liquid. So you see how dark it actually became, and it's nice and kind of like almost oily, so it is it doesn't run as easy as the watercolor itself does. So it's kind of cool even to paint with it. It's a different experience for sure. I really enjoyed it. Once you're happy with all your outlines and shading of your cup, now it's time to work on the pine branches. So we will start with lighter brown color and then slowly add some darker tones to make them more realistic in 3D. But again, you can play around with the paint and see how you would like the branches to look. And then we will be adding the needles. Now, please remember that the needles grow kind of like from one place, two needles growing. So they're not just straight poking from the stem, they actually grow kind of in pairs from the same little, place. So also we will start it with a lighter color. I prefer here, see, very nice light lime color. So I always start with light and then slowly add darker tones of green. And again, it's up to you. You can make it in 4 different tones. I worked here with only 3. So I used the very light lime green and then a little bit darker green, so more green in it than yellow. And then for the third color, I used the green mixed with a little bit of blue. So it's a still green color, but with a blue tone in it. See, just like right there. So it looks pretty dark. I probably actually added a little bit of black into that too. So again, it's up to you how you see it, and also depends on your watercolor paints themselves. So you have to play around a little bit and also use that extra paper to try your colors and mixes. And here I'm adding some black, which I also smooth out the edges with a wet, not soaked wet, but like dry wet clean brush. And I'm just going around and putting those final touches while my branches are drying. It's very important that your branches are dry before we put those little cute berries inside. And I'm adding some coffee more for the inside of the cup. Again, this is your cup, so You can keep it lighter. Maybe you like coffee with milk, so that's what you're doing. You can keep it lighter color, but I wouldn't suggest to use a coffee with milk mixture to paint with it. I mean, I've never tried, but it doesn't seem as a good idea. So just keep it simple and try with coffee first. Here I'm adding a little bit of that coffee into my green to create a darker shade of green. And also, as you can tell, I'm just finishing up with final touches for the inside of the cup. And here my brush dropped a little hair, and so I was trying to lift it with another clean brush, which worked, but it was a little bit tough because it also lifted some paint. So I just reapplied the color over again. And now it's the time for the white gouache, for the final white drops for the bubbles, and also maybe some highlights if you would like to make on your cup. Maybe somewhere you went over and it was too late to lift it up with a wet brush. So this is the time right now to reapply those white dots and white lines. Once that is done, we are going to paint our little berries. I painted them with red color and then added white for the highlights. I've also used pink before and also dark red. It's up to you what color you would like to use. Just have fun with it. And once you're happy with your berries, we will wait for the paper to dry to make sure that everything is dry. But by this time, everything should be dry already. Just be careful with your berries. And we will start removing the tape. Now, it is a little bit tricky. And I've noticed that different brands of tape are different when they're removed from watercolor paper. It also depends on your watercolor paper as well. So you want to remove very slow. And as you can see, I'm pulling away from the painting kind of in an angle. And if you see that it's lifting up the paper, just stop and maybe you can add a little bit of clear water, just a little bit, dab in onto the paper, and then continue removing, but just gently, okay? And you will go around like this until you remove completely your tape. Then we will erase any marks that you might still have from, when we were marking the borders for the tape. You'll remove everything, and then if you had little rips of paper somewhere from the tape, I found that this gummy eraser that I use will also smooth out the paper. Not the regular eraser, however. So please be careful when you try to use anything else to fix that little rip. And I would suggest if you have nothing else to soften it with, maybe use again, as I said, a little bit of paper and just dab it gently and wait till it dry, and that should do the trick. And then you have your card. It's all done and ready. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested to purchase this original unique piece, please visit my Etsy shop or contact me directly through my Facebook, Instagram, or website. All the links I will be providing in the description below. Thank you for watching, and until the next video.